Okay, so here we are. This sketchbook. I mark all of my sketchbooks with the date, but I actually started them on. And this one is from 2018. It is a Daler and Rowney 150 GM squared acid-free cartridge paper. It's old, it's battered, it's been in all of my backpacks, and I've taken it everywhere. I haven't done a lot of outdoor sketching with it, but it's sort of half sketchbook, half visual diary. So here we go. The cartridge paper in this, I always put my name in my sketchbook as well in case I lose it, because I take it so many places and hope maybe that some kind Samaritan will return it. The paper in this sketchbook will take a few layers of watercolor, but not loads, and I think on some of the times where it gets a bit ruined, I cover stuff with cutouts and pictures from magazines, that sort of stuff. So this is a nice little post-it I found in the shape of a hand, and you can put the fingers to make different gestures and all you like, that sort of stuff. So this whole sketchbook has been a little bit of a journey, I guess. Some parts of it I'm still working out. I'm otherwise technically finished. There are still parts of this sketchbook that I want to continue painting, and this is one of them. I'm actually got some canvases, and perhaps by the time I put this video up there will be another video about me painting this with a proper background. I went through a phase of not drawing irises in the eyes and keeping these cheeky little fellas in line. There we go. So let me see, where am I going? Oh, this is, like I said, I write little bits about what I want to put in there anyway, so I'll just read this to you. It says, "This is a giant permission slip to experiment, make mistakes and create your truth, no matter how messy or uncomfortable it makes you. All is allowed. You are worthy. Now go make some art." As you'll notice in my sketchbooks, I do give myself a little pep talk every now and again. This is another little thing that I might paint up, a little illustration. I'm not going to do a full canvas on it, I don't think, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Not a giant fan of this particular one, but that I think I might be able to turn into something. But we'll see. Absolutely hate this page, and hence I'm not a giant fan of this page. And the little quote there is, "Always take time to fall in love with ghosts." I don't like how her face came out. When I do sketchbooks, I tend to draw them all out really, really quickly, and then I go back and colour them in and add stuff in at a later date. So sometimes there's a massive gap between the style I draw at the beginning of the sketchbook to how it is at the end, and I definitely myself see a bit of that anyway in this one. I love that theme, so I'm definitely doing more with that. I just have to paint a few more up, make them a bit more fancy, and go from there. I live on a student footpath, so they walk past my house to go to university most mornings, and there's this kid with this giant red afro, and he's incredible, so I had to draw him and put him in my sketchbook. More ghosts. I like this idea. I don't like how it was executed, but all of this is mainly watercolors, then watercolor pencil, some fine liners, and then some felt tip pens. I'm not overly fussy about what I use. I think that's going to be a sticker. That's just how I was feeling on that day. Not amazing. You might have seen some of these. If you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen a few of these pages, the earlier stuff anyway. Initially when I started this sketchbook, I was just doing sort of singular pieces and not so much backgrounds. That changes later on in the book. I was experimenting with bigger eyes there, not so much. This is another, again, I spill my thoughts into this space. It's half journal, so creative ideas are like ghosts. They keep haunting me until they manifest. The balance is treating them as sacred without taking them seriously. And that's just some foliage I liked. I was painting this up in a coffee shop. I spent half my life drinking coffee, and I spilt some of the syrup from the porridge I was eating on this one, and I'm still furious about it, but there we go. Oh, kind of I don't want to say a retired musician. I just got battered and taken out of it for a while, so I'm slowly getting back into music. So I'm in the middle of making a new album, so you'll see little references to that as we go along, and I kind of like that. I think that'll make a good sticker as well, or something. We'll see. I was clearly watching Saga as that was going on. I went through a phase of really trying to stylize men, because I thought it was going to be different to stylizing women, and it isn't. You just play around with the same themes, really. I never really felt like colouring him in. Not a giant fan of these either. Like, again, because this sketchbook is, yeah, I suppose nearly 2 years old now. It's very weird looking back at some of the things I used to paint and draw. Again, these were just one drawing a day, just getting that done, doing that. I think this is where I started to, because like I said, I draw my sketchbooks out and then I tend to colour them in, especially during the winter, because that's a time when my creativity tends to, well, not my creativity, where my mental energy tends to plummet, and that's when I tend to actually get more work done because I'm less distracted. So as long as I give myself a good routine, I can plow through a lot, especially during the winter. So, oh, this is me and my husband-to-be, Stuart. When we first got together, we used to take baths together and read poetry to each other. So that was kind of a sweet little thing. And it reminded me one day, I was like, we haven't done that for ages. So playing with that. I think a good little tip for sketchbooks is drawing on post-its. Just get some fancy or weird shaped post-its if you can, because that does seem to help. Jotting down ideas and catching little things there. This entire page I just drew a bunch of shapes, and then I tried to challenge myself to see what I could do with them, so they're okay. I'd like this one until I painted her up, but again, she might find her way onto a canvas at some point. Not entirely sure. He was a doodle that I had in just from work, and I decided to draw him up bigger. He's slightly different, more a cartoony style than I normally do, because this year I did also start a comic, which I'm still working on, but we are getting there. But I wanted to do something a little different. Also, I do take page breaks, because this paper isn't incredible for holding a ton of watercolor. You can't really layer the crap out of it, because it just starts to get really grainy. So I will every now and again just take a little break, just leave a little gap, so sort of like this. Him, I did paint him up actually, but I didn't like how the painting came out. I prefer the little doodle in the sketchbook, so I might scan him in and do something with him. Let me know if you're interested. This, not a fan of, didn't come out the way I wanted to. I was just desperately trying to draw boys because I was sick of drawing girls, and keeping it in that illustration style. Again, always need my coffee. This is, that was similar to the other one. You will see paper aeroplanes a lot in my work as well. They're kind of a symbol for childlike ideas. I think I mentioned that in a previous video. I think around here I got stuck in a comparison coma. I kept looking at everybody else's work and then looking at mine and thinking this is crap. So part of finishing a sketchbook is learning to stay in your own lane. And just your relationship is with your creativity, not with someone else's. So this is a little sort of symbolic thing I've drawn for years, sort of these four things. 4 characters. I don't know why, but it's always the 4 on a page. I don't quite know what that is yet, but this is another student that was walking past the house. I did a series of pencil girls years ago. Again, not a giant fan of how this one came out, but I do like the idea. Then it's a page break. Then I don't know, I started getting into drawing little leaves and seeds and growy things, and that's my horticultural knowledge there for you. Okay, me trying to draw Again, I think getting a bit more stylized. I'm always stuck between whether I want to go ultra realistic, or I think it's called hyper realism, which I think I might be able to do, but it would take me 4 years to do one painting. I might be a tad overconfident there, who knows, but I think I can give it all a go. But I wanted to get that in between illustration and a little bit more realistic. This page is where I think my creativity switched on a little bit, because I can feel my passion for sketchbooks starting to return there. I did paint him up, and I think I've currently put him up on my Instagram if you want to go and see. He's there somewhere. Just carrying on here. Again, this is the mixture of that realism. I'm mixing that in. There was just a girl who serves coffee, or used to serve coffee locally, who had this gorgeous big red hair, and I wanted to draw her as a fairy. Back to the illustrations again, playing with the sizes of the eyes. Little unicorn. You can't go far without a ghost. We all need a bit of a ghost in our lives. These little monsters that turn up in all of my stuff tend to represent different types of emotions. I know there's literally a kids movie based on that, but I swear I found that out afterwards, okay? This is me attempting to conjure some sort of playfulness just to get myself back into sync. Finished this quite recently, actually, because I tend to start 4 or 5 sketchbooks at once. I try to theme them. It's the same routine. I start 4 or 5, I'm going to get one done a month, and then I end up just not finishing any of them, and then come winter I'm manically trying to finish everything. It's a nightmare. A creative nightmare, I should say. Let's not get too dramatic, shall we? Again, I've done a painting similar to this, but I prefer how this came out. So she will be, I've got a piece of wood ready to paint her on soon. Trying some, I'm not very great at the moment with sort of dynamic poses. So there's me attempting to start that. This is another one that's definitely going on the canvas, kind of like the first one with the monsters. This one is going to be painted up, maybe for, well, I guess you might see that on a video at the same time as this one, so we will see. Don't quite know what I was thinking that day, but I live in Wales, so it was raining a lot. Page break. It's me just, sketchbooking is my mindfulness practice. So I try and do something in it every single day. And I think I can see the way I'm putting these together. That's that. There's the 4 towers again. I hope I'm not flicking through this too quickly. I'm trying not to make videos that go on for hours and hours and hours. This, just a giant purple-eyed dude. There's nothing magical about it. And then this is a guy from a vampire movie I was watching, and I just liked his long neck. So I decided this is kind of the direction I wanted to go in for a while, to keep it a bit more realistic, or get more of that embellished rather than illustration. I know they're technically both illustration, but there we are. And I think that's, yeah, that's the end of this sketchbook. Little tester sheet there. So that's one of my sketchbooks from 2018. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed. I have more videos coming out soon, so don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the bell, or do whatever, dance on one foot. I don't know any of the lingo, so just thanks, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care.